Welcome to Christ Truth Revealed, the Unleavened Bible and the Meaning of Life. And tonight I titled this live show as Christ Truth Reveal, the little book is open, take and eat. Because they only give me so many words for the title now. And it is hosted by Celeste and the Lion, and I am the Lion.
I'm Celeste. So the mark of the beast, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of God is within you. The beast is within. And then it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. And so this is kind of a lead in to just, as always, every episode we remind people that, going not to any man to be taught, but, go to the kingdom within. And so definitely starting off with that, because if it's not being given to you, it's likely because you haven't asked.
Yes, and I'm seeing a lot of YouTube stuff talking about the second coming of Jesus, talking about the beast, and then saying, we know who the beast is, but then when I listen to it, he doesn't know who the beast is. The Antichrist, I guess, it's all kind of muddled together. So before we decided not to do last week, Sunday as an actual, both of us hosting live, that was kind of what I wanted to do. So I've had more time to ponder it, and when I did the 5 parts of the reading that I did of the writing from like 2010 or something like that.
Yeah.
I other things just kind of opened up to me that were very much, very cool. And then just to understand the natural law, the universal law that God has laid down in creation. And that's the answer to everything. But real quick, I wanted to touch on something else that I found in there. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on something that I read, and it really just struck me. In the Bible, how it's always men, right? Man.
Yeah.
The man is the king. The man is the king, and I'm the king of the house. Blah blah blah. I was talking about charity, and 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 5. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. Her. How many times is her used like that in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, oh man, I
catch.
I never noticed it before, but because we talk about how women are mistreated by religion, basically they're mistreated anyway. And then I read that, it just pops out to me like, what? Mm-hmm. And then episode in part 5, I think I said I wanted to revisit that, so that's what I'm kind of doing now. But it says, what is that saying? That's saying that charity, which is considered to be love, is a her. It's her. God is saying it's her. So, yin and yang, right? Yin and yang, right?
God is
right?
love and love is her,
Well, no, but by religion, God is a freaking judgmental, vengeful asshole, But then her, God's yin or yang or whichever, is love, is charity. Anyway, I just kind of had fun with that. It says charity does not seeketh her own. And I can see somebody in religion saying, no, look, it says you do not seek your own. I'm the king. So,
charity is a feminine name, right? It is used as a feminine name. I've never heard a guy named Charity.
Nope. But right there, it's to me, that's, just kind of like confirmation of the yin and yang, and also of, the feminine is feminine intuition. Feminine is love. I know that, I know that through my mother, through my children, through my, I've been surrounded by females, and they have taught me, how to be love. So anyway,
Now,
just
I would add,
huge.
I would add to that having been someone who spent probably 2/3 of his career working either with nonprofit agencies, charities, right, non-for-profit organizations. Even when I was in tech industry, I would always find a way to kind of bring a social cause into whatever company I was working with. But if you're someone who works full time in a nonprofit industry, it's actually very emasculating. People don't treat you like you're legitimate businessman, or like it's kind of, that's nice. That's all nice and well. How is it being poor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I know. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing about trusting people to translate something like the Bible. Who are in control. Whoever's in control controls history, controls the present, controls everything. Well, anyway, I thought that was really cool to find that in there, that her is charity. Charity is a her.
Amen.
Beautiful. Women rejoice in that, and women, it's starting to shift now. Women are taking their rightful place. They aren't going to have it anymore.
Yeah.
The mark of the beast. Everybody's looking for the beast, for the Antichrist, where? Outside themselves, of course. Okay, the world has had the beast and all of those things for ever since its creation. It says in the Bible, which I read in those parts, it says it over and over that all of that stuff has been going on. These things must come to pass. People have been looking for the Antichrist and for Jesus ever since Jesus left. And they've been struggling with the world and everything.
Supposedly left.
Yeah, supposedly left, and which we know there's no way, possibility, even a slightest little understanding of that. So anyway, then in the Bible, and this is for people that believe in the Bible, of course. If you don't believe in the Bible, then this is just some other information. But it says the kingdom is at hand, okay, and then it says the kingdom is within. What does it say about the mark of the beast? It says it'll either be on the palm of your hand or it'll be on your forehead. Mm. So that is so significant because the kingdom is at hand. If you aren't grabbing the kingdom to take it for yourself and going within to the kingdom, then you got the mark of the beast on your hand. It's just natural law. It's just the way it works. If you aren't going within and opening up the door, and a lot of people, somebody can hear this and then say, oh yeah, okay, the kingdom's in. But if you don't have the energy or the lamp, if your lamp is not full of oil, the door is closed. The door is your forehead. It's the forehead. It's the third eye. It's when you roll your eyes up, when you seek God within to climb your mountain, you open the door in your third eye.
And you've attained Christ consciousness.
Exactly. To attain Christ consciousness, which all religion right now that I know of are not teaching that Christ is within you. They're teaching that it's Jesus only. That is the Antichrist. But the forehead has the stamp on it if you are not going up to your crown, if you are not visiting God at the top of your mountain. You have the mark of the beast. It's not like it's... The Bible is leaven about that. It's not going to be, people punished for eternity in hell because they take the mark of the beast. It's natural. It's natural law. You don't know that God exists. It's the mark of the beast. That's all it is.
You'll just have another shot at it in another life.
Yeah, and you will though. You
Yeah.
will
Ah,
open up
you will. You
eventually.
will eventually.
Yep.
You may need
Some
a few more beatdowns, but
yeah.
you know, get ready to hold on tight,
And
or
God
hold
bless
on
those beat
loosely.
downs. God,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if we didn't get olives beaten, there would be nothing to it. There would be nothing, no meaning of anything. And that's
Yeah.
atheists believe there is no meaning to anything. But eventually, those atheists are going to come to realize that there is,
Yeah.
somewhere down the line. But and then
Well,
the other, go ahead.
they're definitely seeking because choosing
Yes, or they wouldn't
atheism
be an
is
atheist,
still,
right?
yeah, exactly. They're in that process of beginning to question, and I think the more beatdowns you take, then obviously you become a little more supple and a little more open and a little more just willing to yeah, kind of gain some enlightenment.
Yep.
Waking up,
And
right? It's about waking up your consciousness and just not
exactly.
not being afraid of deeper thinking.
And this could be a little controversial, but maybe not really. But an atheist could be closer to God because they're not polluted by religion, right? They're
Mm,
not. They're not like made of non-effect through tradition. So if an atheist that's saying there is no God, there's no way, they don't even think
yeah.
about it. But if they hear something and they say, well, okay, so maybe there is. They could know it right then,
Yeah,
just with
and for
that seed
sure.
of
I
faith.
mean, you definitely see that with other people too, right? When some of those great testimonies are, atheists that, right, an apologist, kind of had that discussion with them, and quickly they saw it, right? And
Yeah,
it's also true with other people. Some great testimonies I've heard are from, like, heard the word of God and were immediately open to it, right?
yeah,
Because it was so much more um, about, feeling that love and acceptance of who you
yeah.
were created to be, who
Yep.
you've always been. And again, when we
Amen.
start talking about the whole ability to, climb the mountain and find out your name at the mountaintop, find out your soul's name, the origin of your soul's name.
Yes.
It really does begin to allow you to just have more self acceptance.
Yep. It
You know,
does, and you'd be surprised at people that have the ability to do that.
yeah, yeah. They just didn't know that there was a way to. Right?
Yep.
We heard that from one of our
Exactly.
meditation
Yes.
followers. So,
Yep.
and I did want to share a quick story about just kind of being confronted in a professional situation, and they used the term, "Hey, we're gonna have a come to Jesus moment," and I'm like, I kind of laughed at it, because he was trying to be serious, and I was like, well, actually, bro, Jesus never left me. Jesus is with me all the time.
100%.
And never, I don't need to come to Jesus. Jesus is already here with me. So if you need to come to Jesus, okay, but it ain't me that needs to come. And it was kind of, it was a bit of a, I think I may have gained a little credibility in that confrontation of just,
Right on.
the guy was about to try to, lay into me a little bit, and it softened his heart. It really did. It was just truth, right? And the effect of truth is love. And I
Yeah,
was reminding him that I'm going to love. I'm going to love and love, as perfectly as I can. But let's not confuse things. If you want to be aggressive and try to make something here, fine. But that's not where I'm going with it.
oh, darn, I'm jealous.
It was cool. Yeah, it was a cool moment. I had a lot of gratitude, and again, because it wasn't me
Yeah.
speaking that, it was Celeste speaking that.
No kidding. Yes, very
Yeah,
good. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Which is you, which is all of you now
yeah, yeah,
because you're
yeah.
whole
Well,
eye. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I still,
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
especially
Yes.
being in industry now. The difference of leaving nonprofit and going into industry. It's just like I'm trying to, yeah, not, feels like there's got to be a balance in that.
Yep. Yep.
And I stray from the balance a lot. It pulls me back into the world a lot because it's time in front of the computer doing all that stuff, right? Egos and dealing with people.
Yep. Yep.
People whose hearts may not be set on anything besides profit.
Yep. Or power trip or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Those things. And then I was going to say about the meditation that Christians won't let me do it with them.
Yeah, it's interesting, huh?
I don't think I've
it's
ever done it.
It's a little too woo-woo. People think it's woo-woo. They hear meditation and they think woo-woo.
Yeah. I have done it.
Eastern yogi? What are you, a yogi?
Yeah, I have done it with people that, went to church and stuff. I don't know how firm they weren't really firm Christian, but they were, and I did get them to do it. But people that are like Christians that are, like trying to bring people to Jesus, like you're talking about, they won't do it. They won't do it. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe the time has come now, but up to now, not really. They're just nope. It's okay. I'm not Christ. Jesus is the only Son of God, and I'm only saved by Jesus dying on the cross and shedding his blood. I'm sorry, I got to laugh at that because it's just, I used to believe that too, and I'm laughing at myself as well. But how does that make any sense? I'm sorry, but it just makes no sense. God sent his son for us to kill him and shed his blood, but then because he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, which was already automatic. It's in the Old Testament, I believe. Of ignorance or whatever, that's bliss. So it just makes no sense. It's Christ. It's Christ. It's the blood of Christ. It's the vibration of Christ. It's the meditation of Christ. And
energy of God. Yeah.
God's energy, that is Christ, that is what connects man or physical creation to allow God to experience these things, and for us to be able to get to the point to experience God, we have to go through that crystal. We have to go through the crystal. We have to. And our body is a crystal, and then our body gains in vibration. It raises in vibration the more that we commune with God, the more we meditate, the more we go into the green pastures, which is alpha consciousness, which Celeste came up with that from his surfing, lay me down these green pastures, but also just the point of in Psalm 23, lay me down in green pastures. It's talking about lay me down in meditation in alpha. And when David says in Psalm that he meditates,
so that I may be restored, so my soul may be restored.
Yes.
It's like the biggest piece for me because like today, I go out, there's nobody out there. It's beautiful, on the beach. And, there's so many people on the beach. It's like, God, get me in the ocean right now, please. There's all these people and humans on the beach. Restore my soul. And I get out there and literally I'll take clumps of seaweed and drape it over my shoulder so that I'm weighed down and kind of anchored in the spot where I know a wave's going to come through.
Yes.
And I get that rush of God's energy, and I just go straight back to the same spot, throw the seaweed on top of myself. I must look like a kook to these people. They wouldn't understand at all what's happening.
You probably sound like a kook too, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's working.
Just kidding.
No, it's
No, I know it's working.
Restorative for me. I just cannot. It was critical today. It was a critical path today. If I didn't surf, I felt like my mental health was going to, slip another notch.
No, the surfing and stuff is what's kept you ready. It's kept you ready.
It's a moving meditation, but it's such a commune, a way to commune with God and be in the green pasture. People vibe out, and you know that they're And one guy walked straight up to me. I mean, I could just tell he was coming to talk to me the way he was walking. It's like, okay, what's this guy going to have to say? But it was great. It was a very cool combination. We actually had a mutual friend, so it was funny. But right, you just like people are drawn to it. They're like, wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. The doors are opening. That's for sure.
Anyway, big tangent there. We got to get back to the topic.
Well, kind of. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, what kind of nails the whole thing is that part of it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, which the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Kingdom of God is within you. And then, but it is not for them to know. Okay, so why? What is that saying? Because they have the mark of the beast. They can't even grab the kingdom. They can't realize the kingdom is at hand, which is within. They can't even fathom that the kingdom is within them, that's where heaven is. Heaven on earth is heaven in the body. And then when you say, let's have a come to Jesus, what you're really saying, because Jesus represents the body, and it even says that, Jesus
good catch.
and then the head. Jesus represents the body, and then Christ represents God in man, the Son of Man. So it's not given, you can't have it.
I wonder if
it's not given.
One of the things that's kind of coming to me is this idea of the body and man and a closed hand is maybe a fist is also a mark of the beast, because we have to have our hands open, right? In meditation, we actually do that, right? We want to receive.
Yes.
So as a way of body language of showing that, we open our palms upward and receive. But if you're unwilling to do that, if you're always kind of clenching your fist because you're in your body and you're always shaking your fist at everything in the world, right? That's the mark of the beast.
Exactly. Yes. And see, there you go. Awesome. And then also, like with things like when it says if you're sick, go to the elders of the church and have them lay hands on you. And then in other circles, there's something called Reiki. There's healing hands. There's that kind of thing. The energy flows through your hands.
Yeah.
I know I do that. I've done it for years. The energy flows through your hands. It comes out of one palm and into the other, and it circulates through your body, and it comes through the top of your head and circulates. And you put your hands on somebody and you share that energy. It's love. It's life force. It is wonderful. So if you're closed off in your hand, you're not using that even. You're closed off to the kingdom. So you have the mark of the beast. It's not some guy, some big thing outside in the world. Go ahead and keep looking out there if you want. But you're missing it. You're missing it because it's in you. It's in you. You've already got the mark of the beast because you're looking out there. You're not opening up. And in the Bible, it's there. I just read something that shows all the scriptures of the little book. The little book is open. It shows all the scriptures of all that. It's really that simple. And that's awesome. Yes, you close your fist. You get angry at something. You're cutting off God because you're cutting off love.
There you go.
I think that kind of covers that. So, I guess I'll say real quick. Whole eye, whole eye, whole eye. Lord God Almighty. The angel has the little book. It's open. Take it and eat it. It's here. It's now. It will be bitter to your belly, but it will be sweet as honey in your mouth. It is what says the ego is not in control anymore, and it is what gives you your spiritual love and power. And that you realize that God is actually the power and always has been. And it is. It just kind of came to me. Sacrifice. It's really not sacrifice, but it is, you know, to give up the world, to give up the things around you, to give up the dreams, to give up the thought of death and heaven afterward, or any thought of what death might be. It takes sacrifice. It's not easy, but it is just that easy as just saying, "Okay, God, I give it to you." You know, let go and let God. And I heard the puppy was trying to get involved there. Had something to say.
Yeah. She's being a big distraction right now. It's been serious. Like, this is the witching hour. She just kind of really wants to play and just is going nuts. Ouch! Stepped on a tack. That did not feel good.
Yeah, it's those little pricks.
Yeah. But she's trying to eat a golf ball right now. That's she'll swallow it, you know. She just swallows everything.
Yeah, the way to understand the little book has obstacles and challenges, but the only obstacles and challenges is whatever we give it, whatever is given to us, whatever we are. But it's really as simple as retreating within and going forth. And then again, you know, people might find that the door is shut and they'll go on with their lives because you've got to have the lamp ready to trim. You ascend on the Mount of Olives, not the one in a place called Israel, but on the one inside of you that is Israel. We are Israel when we realize in Christ consciousness, when we lie down in the green pastures, and when we put the blood around the door, the lamb's blood.
All right. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. What are other ways that demonstrate that people aren't being given the answers they're seeking? Like, you know, we talked about shaking your fist at God and atheists, and just what are other ways that we just, I know it's about being stuck in the world and the body, but right?
So the other ways that we cut ourselves off, you mean?
Yeah. Just, I wonder if it's helpful, because right, to them it's not given, so they're just not getting the message, right?
Yeah, but I see people that are waking up, and then they, you know, and I call it breathing in, breathing out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll
see that a lot.
they'll looking at yourself in the mirror, or like I see people on doing podcasts, and they have a camera on themselves and they're talking. And they're looking at themselves in another screen, and you can see where they're adjusting, you know, and stuff, and they're distracted. Some of them are pretty good at it, but that keeps you in the world. If I was sitting here looking at myself on camera, I wouldn't be able to sit here with Marielle. I'd be sitting here with that person that I'm looking at, you know. So it's all those things. And then these things like COVID, and then like whatever the next thing is, those things, you know, it's paying attention to those things, giving them power. Or thinking that somebody needs you
it's almost
fix
like
them.
It's just like the leaven of the Bible, right? There's the leaven of the world.
Yes. And the leaven in the Bible is the world, yeah.
Okay.
Physical world. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that can distract people, you know. And then again, there's people that are doing podcasts and stuff like that, and they're doing it to make a living. So that interferes with it, you know. And I've seen some very wise people that have kind of turned a little bit off, and it's kind of because you can't, you know, like the Bible says, you cannot serve two masters. If you believe you have to do it to make a living instead of just sharing what you love to do, then it'll cut you off. You know, it changes things. There's so many different things like that. But it's no mistake. You know, there is no mistake in that. It's all perfect. But yeah, you know, the good question, because so many things. And like, you know, with a person really close to me. You know, same thing.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
will say to me that, darn it, I did it again. I went and looked, and now I got stuck, and now, breathing in, breathing out, and upset, and I don't want to be in this world anymore. It's like, it's an opportunity to love unconditionally. Oh yeah. And then it's hard, that's simple to say. It's not easy to do. But yeah, I see it all around, and it's just because the physical has got the power on us because we're physical. But we can detach from the physical. We can see it from pure unconditional love, and not be affected by it anymore. It can be just like watching a baseball game and not really caring about either team, just watching the game, right? You don't have anything
overly invested in the outcome.
Exactly, just like you always say.
So that's maybe the biggest shift that we're talking about then, right? Is this idea to not be overly invested in the idea of going to heaven, right? That heaven is at hand, right?
Right. Yes.
And I think, again, we keep saying this, right? About you're looking in the world for it. You're not opening that chakra and seeing, what the kingdom is really offering you. People, oh yeah, gosh, that's nice if it's real. How do you know if fraternity's real, right? And they just get a little despondent, right? They're just like, oh gosh, yeah, I hope so, And they say it with hope. I think when they say I hope so, they mean that, but I can hear the despondency in it too.
Yeah.
It's like just not knowing that idea of, I like the way you say it, and I want to say it that way, of knowing what you know.
Knowing that knowing.
Yeah, knowing. I forget how you say it.
Knowing you already know.
There it is.
Knowing you already know. And then it is.
And trusting that, right? And then having an implicit trust in that I do know what I already know.
Yep. And the biggest thing is to realize that it's God that's creating all of this. Yeah. Everything that happens, every interaction that this body has with anybody was created by God. Every word that came out of this mouth over my entire life was created by God for everybody.
Well, and being an experience of God means that you're having this literally having this conversation out loud with God, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But people think that's very, that's woo-woo, and you're like, oh, really? Yeah. That's prayer? People wouldn't they think prayer has to be this quiet thing you do with your eyes closed. And, we're told to go into the closet and pray, but at the same time, right, if our life is truly of God, for God, and by God, right, then every action is an act of worship. Everything we're doing.
Yes, exactly. Everything. All of it. Yes. And when you realize that, that's where peace comes. That's where joy comes. That's where that's where heaven on earth comes. No matter what your body does, it gets frustrated, it gets intense, it doesn't really want to do this, or it doesn't want to do that, or it really wants to do this, but it can't do that. But you still live in joy and peace because you know that you're only going to do exactly what you need to do, or you're supposed to do, so to speak. And I think saying supposed to do, ego hates that word. Ego hates that. Ego does. I mean, that's why it says in the Bible that Satan come and taketh it away right away after the word is sown in your heart. Because it does not want you to realize that it's just a matter of going along.
Sure, do you know everything you need to know?
Yes, and that's why forgiveness of yourself, for one thing, should be a given, because you've never done anything wrong. Everything you've done is by God, and God said. And Jesus said, do not judge. Do not judge. That's why. Because we do stupid things. People do really horrible things. But it's all God. It's all God. Anybody that reads the Bible, it's there. It's there. And that's the thing about the Bible, too. That's how you see the little book. Stop looking at the world when you're reading the book. You're reading the Bible looking at the world. Wait, where's the Antichrist? Where? I don't see. Is it is it that guy or is it that guy or what?
Right.
Who's the dragon? Who's the dragon? That's the fluff. That's the leaven.
Yeah.
When you look at it from your eternal soul, all you're going to see is heaven and love and joy and peace, and it's just a matter of that right there. Just clicking on stop looking at the world, especially if you're a Christian and you read the Bible and you read the Revelation where it says God created all things, and for God's pleasure all things were created. How can you not be frickin' at joy? How can you not be joyful? And then reading that right there. Why do you speak in parables? Because it's for you to understand the mysteries of heaven, not for them, of the kingdom of heaven, not for them to know. Who is them? Well, the ones that aren't ready, ones that don't have their hand open reaching for the kingdom. They aren't looking up inside themselves to open the door in the forehead. So they have the mark of the beast. 666. Why 666? Because it's cut off. It's the 6 chakras in your body. It's still the third eye, but the crown is shut off. The third eye is just sitting there waiting to be opened up, but it's always open from God down, because God is always in control of everything in this body, and has the word sown in our heart, so it's always connected to our heart, to our soul. It's our mind that has to come to the door and say and knock and open it and ask and seek. It's that simple. Anybody hears this, all you got to do, if you're not sure, if you don't believe, just close your eyes, roll your eyes up, and just say with a mustard seed of faith, okay, God, if you're really there, show me. Just do that one thing. And that's all you have to do. You don't even have to put anything into it. You need to really ask, though. You really need to mean it, but that's all you got to do. And then just go on with your life. And then, with me, down the road, boom,
I like that. I like that you're saying, being patient with people and saying, go on with your life. But I want to encourage people to just ask for your greatest heart's desire. I feel like for one of our listeners, if your greatest heart's desire is to just feel connected to your parents because they've passed, and you want to know that heaven is real and that they're secure, and that
exactly
you can access their love and their spirit energy at any time, then, that's what you ask for. You ask for, God, make it real for me. Help me to experience them in my meditation, and you will.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
You'll feel connection to everything, everyone, all at once, and you'll know that you experienced their energy in your life still.
Yes, absolutely. And Celeste talks from experience, because he has touched all of the people that have passed, and he's had quite a few in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And you've touched them all, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Been in with all of them. And that's why we're Celeste and the lion, because the lion will chew you up, doesn't really give a crap. But Celeste brings that balance in of really caring, and not that I don't care, I care. I care that everybody fulfills their God-given experience. I care about that. But also then the balance comes in from Celeste saying, that he would really love for everybody to experience what he has experienced, what we have experienced. And I love that. That I agree with completely. I would love, because I've done it with hundreds of people, and I've seen the expressions on their faces when it's done in person. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it when you see that person. I saw somebody that agreed to do it that was wicked, but during the time of that meditation was totally light and love.
Beautiful.
Had the most beautiful smile on the face, so beautiful, and then the next day completely gone out of it, back to the what it was. But I've seen it happen both ways.
joy that transcends all understanding. Wow.
It does. Yeah,
You
well,
would think
because
that would stick. You'd think that would stick, having experienced it, right?
you
But
would. You sure
there's
would.
density, right? There's some
Yeah.
density hanging around them, so it's okay.
Yeah. There was,
You're ready when you're
and
ready, but there's no reason not to ask for your greatest heart's desire to be fulfilled. That's
yeah,
all I'm saying. You know.
and there was another guy that this guy, I knew him kind of in a weird way. Got to know him, and we actually liked each other, and we shouldn't have, but we did. And he came to see me. I was staying in a motel room. It was during custody fight time, and he was kind of on the other side. But then we became kind of friends, and a friend of his was staying next door to me that had just gotten like a bunch of money from a settlement or something, so he was partying. But anyway, I got him to sit down. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning when he came by, and I brought him in and we sat and talked. I got him to meditate because he was open. And all I did is just have him go in. I didn't say anything of what he was going into. I just took him into Alpha, into the green pastures. I had him expand into the room. Just feel me, feel the room. And he was just, man, you could see again the same thing as that other person. Just like lighting up. And then he leaves my room, goes over to his friend and snorts some coke, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
He was like he didn't even remember it an hour later, So there's all of that kind of stuff. But guess what? Seed planted, right?
Well, that's you're able to access a part of the brain, your cocaine, that you can actually access normally, through meditation.
Yes.
So,
you can get higher on that, man.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
you don't have
it
a
is,
come down.
it's interesting though.
So it is amazing, and I'm glad that you brought that up because for anybody, anybody can do it. Anybody can go and experience that green pasture, and you can also go to the blood of Christ. And then the wine that Jesus did at the wedding was also a parable of going to the altar to wed the bridegroom. The wine, that's theta vibration at that full body spirit experience. It turns from blood to wine, even though it was water that he turned to wine, but it's still symbolic of theta vibration, the seventh heaven. It's like the finest of wine. Yeah, It is so beautiful, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I've been there. I've felt it. I feel it. I feel it now. I have to feel this body, and this body has its aches and pains and stuff. That's God's perfect plan. But when you can be in joy and witness and unconditional love and infinite patience and have those things going on, it's just amazing. It's so hard to even, I can't describe it. I can only say just, I'm telling you how, go give it a try. And we do offer ourselves to help people if anybody wants to. And with all humility, we will do it without even caring who you are or what happens. But we will help. We offer that because we get such joy and pleasure, and we get grace and gift. It's wonderful.
Anybody who gets this would want to give it away. I don't think it's just kind of my heart set, but a lot of goodness comes from generosity, right? We forget about that. About freely given what was freely given to us.
Yes, and like Giraffe Heart said, that's a great point. People think that it's imagination. It's their imagination, and don't understand where imagination comes from, right? That's a good point. Yes, imagination is...
What about I, Magi, Nation? Whoa. Well, a Magi, right? A Magi is a spiritual being, right? I, Magi, Nation. So, right? A Magi is considered like a ascended being. You've heard the term,
yes,
right?
I know it. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Can't remember where it comes from, but yeah, it's something like magi or magi. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And again,
It's,
people will be like, "Oh, wow, that sounds
yeah,
made up," or right, sounds like magic, and magic isn't from God. And what? Hello,
yeah, yeah. Well,
everything, everything.
yeah. Same with at one and right use and whole eye and you know it's all those things nitpick or whatever but yes it
I
is
just saw that.
all
I just saw
from
that as
one.
she wrote that. I magi nation. Because the
I'm
kingdom is at hand, right? We can be a nation of the kingdom.
we can, yeah, if that's what the plan is, we darn sure can, and that maybe that is going to happen. But if
Maybe
that's where
that
the
is the
attention
second coming.
is, yeah. But if that's where the attention is, then you're missing the point. You're not going to find. I mean, the point will be missed. You'll be one of the ones that don't get there because you're not doing it within yourself first. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe that's going to happen outside of us. Maybe the world is going to become this heaven place or whatever. But if you're not going within, if you aren't opening the door within yourself, if you aren't removing the mark of the beast from your palm or from your forehead, then that ain't going to matter to you. It's not going to matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if there is a physical beast out there, it's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
But if you're finding God within yourself, that beast cannot touch you. Nothing outside of this body can touch you unless God lets you know that that's what's going to happen. I was told that, I was told in a way, though, back in the day, from a religious perspective, even kind of, I guess, while I was still there, I was told in myself, God said, no devil or the devil or something like that will never be able to touch you again. Will never be able to do anything again. And that was kind of when my ego fully died. I mean, my ego fully became just a part of me. I
Because now you knew everything that you needed to know.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's beautiful.
And,
Yeah.
and now I know it's because the only thing that can hurt us is our ego, basically, and it's ego that hurts us on the outside too from others. So it's just
Yeah. It's kind of cool because, like, not having a fear of the world, not having a fear of God's perfect energy anymore. I was explaining to that guy today that I don't have fear about 20-foot surf anymore. It's just not a thing for me. It's just
Yep.
There was a period where I was in mourning, I think, and didn't want to have that experience anymore. But it's kind of a sign of depression when you're not doing things that you love.
Exactly. Yes. When you know
It's
you
a
can.
symptom. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a symptom of depression, and you're living in fear. It's kind of like, well, but and then
Yep.
people
And now
say,
it's
"Oh, but you don't value life if you're putting your life at risk like that."
yeah, and that's
It's
just
like,
crap.
no, I'm living
Or
my life. I'm living my life to the fullest extent possible.
or you're breaking a commandment by tempting the Lord thy God. But
Testing.
you aren't. You're trusting the Lord thy God. You're trusting because when you're out there and if a big wave comes and it's something that's going to wipe you out or kill you, you aren't going to catch it. And then when you do catch the one and you ride that tube or whatever, then that was the same thing. It's not tempting. It's being blessed to live your dream, to get that blessing. And I'm telling you, people, ever since we started this podcast, we've been getting blessed in amazing ways.
Yeah.
And it's not like piles of money because you can't serve two masters, but it is blessings. It's blessings of spirit, of joy, of energy, of riding a 20-foot wave for the first time.
And seeing people their hearts soften with just a simple
You tell them, yes.
phrase, right? Just a simple phrase that softens someone's heart, and then they kind of bring it back to what it's really about.
Yep.
It was a really nice moment. I know you say you're jealous of kind of having a practical place to put this stuff to test, but I'm sure you get those experiences too. So.
Oh yeah, I was joking, but also it's just to
Yeah.
let you know that that's wonderful. I love
That's
that.
why it continues.
Yeah, and we got a hallelujah from the puppy a couple of times there. So there you go.
Praising God.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and so just real quick, anybody on the board, and we thank you for coming. Um, if you're on Podbean app, which of course you have to be on Podbean app to be on the chat board, you're going to maybe get a pop-up, and a pop-up's going to say, if you like what the content is, follow. If you like it, give a gift. That's not from us. It's Podbean that does that automatically. I've asked them to stop, but they won't. We do not ask for gifts. We do not take gifts. We do ask people if you want to call in. That is a gift that we love. So we would take that, but we don't care if you follow. We don't care. What we care about is that anybody listens with a seed of faith and they look up within themselves and start their journey of going forth within. That's all we care about. And then this is live show. I will have it up sometime tomorrow on publish for anybody that's come in late if you're interested in listening to the whole thing. It was actually very fun tonight, I think. And then it goes to YouTube, or I'll put it on YouTube. And YouTube has closed captions if anybody would rather have the reading. Just know you got to kind of try to listen a little bit. The captions can be off on some words, but sometimes it's perfect. It was spot on in the poem.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And
so the Magi are the wise men from the east who brought gifts to the infant Jesus.
Oh, wow.
It's from Matthew 2:1.
Yep. And are they imagining or are they intuitioning?
Said later in tradition to be the kings named Casper, Melchior, and Balthazar.
Yes, I've heard that.
Ones who brought the gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, so the Magi Nation, if we are the Magi Nation, then we are like bringing God our gift every day by the way we live our lives.
Yes, God is us. Yes.
I'm loving that.
Shining through. Loving the light.
Yeah, and thanks for the reminder about, the gifts, and, don't ignore the Podbean support requests, and, for new people on the board like Mary, if you're interested in, getting the app, downloading it, and then being able to dial in and ask questions, that's the best gift we can get. It's just conversation and discourse and, understanding of how you see this idea of reading the Bible with the eternal lens, so that you can experience heaven on earth and know your soul's name, and even have an experience through meditation of understanding what your spirit animal personality is, right? So that you can understand your ego.
Yes, that is a very huge part. Knowing the soul is the biggest, but to know what your nature is very, very enlightening and empowering. Wonderful. Yes, and obviously if you're on the chat board, you have the Podbean app, so you are probably getting pop-ups. And they've put ads on the published podcasts, which I'm trying to get them to take off. Anyway.
Well, it was fun. Thank you again.
Yeah, it was very fun. Yes, and go and enjoy those
provoking people. Posing the provocative questions. It's never clickbait. We're not just trying to sensationalize things, but it's important that the fluff of what you've maybe been taught to read or how you've been taught to understand, right? We should have a new lens to look at things through.
Yeah, and that's the
And then
bait
and then
though.
ask the question
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, that's the bait though, is that you have everyone has the ability to experience the magnificence of God. Take that bait. You know, take it hook, line, and sinker. I'm telling you, because the only pull in the line is God, and
Mm,
not gonna pull you and eat you. Gonna pull you into heaven. Kind of cool analogy there.
yeah, for sure. Well, right on, man. Thanks
Yep.
again.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, we got a heat wave, man. We're gonna beat some. It's gonna be like the desert, man. Ugh,
Mm,
nasty. And
yeah, I think you'll survive.
oh, I will. Yeah, definitely. It's not supposed to last long. So anyway, all right, very good. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining,
Yeah, and if you
and
like
good
subtitles, you
night.
can always listen to us on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. And
Much love, y'all.
all right, good night.
Good night.